Protests took place on campus today as one student organization is asking for the removal of the Confederate statue.
Coming up, we'll take a look how the organization hopes to make change and what they're demanding from the interim chancellor.
Good evening.
I'm at the Political Science building on campus, and I just talked to political scientist Connor Dowling. He told me what he thinks about the election results. Find out what he said coming up.
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Grace McClanahan.
And I'm Bess Pavlakovich.
Students gathered this morning to protest the Confederate statue on campus.
NewsWatch reporter Abby McIntosh is live in the circle with more. Abby?
Thanks, guys. Students Against Social Injustice, better known as SASSY, marched on campus this morning demanding that the Confederate statue right behind me be taken down. Protesters say they won't stop until their demands are met.
I'm feeling excited and happy, hopeful, inspired, ready to go.
M. Gill, along with other students and faculty, gathered at various locations on campus this morning to protest the Confederate statue. SASSY has held other protests before, but this one was a bit different.
Today we wanted to have a bit more disruptive of an event during class hours while everyone's out and about on campus.
President of SASSY, Arquavius Williams, says the reason they want to see the statue go is because it's hindering full inclusiveness for all UM students.
We feel like just getting the flag down shouldn't be the last step of getting the UM to be a more safe place for minority students.
The protest ended right here in the Lyceum, where students went in and presented the chancellor with a list of demands. Williams hopes that whoever sits in that office will listen and take action.
We pay to go here, and we should feel safe. We shouldn't have to feel that we don't feel safe on this campus if we're gonna pay to be here.
Even though this protest happened 2 days before finals, Gill says they won't stop until the statue is taken down.
To let students and administration know that we're still here, the statue is still here, so we're not going to stop.
The list of demands SASSY presented to the chancellor earlier this afternoon include implementing a public hate speech rule, that the statue actually be taken down, and that SASSY representatives be able to meet with campus administration sometime next semester. Reporting live from the Circle, Abby McIntosh, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Abby. Mississippi's controversial Senate election is finally over. Incumbent Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith has defeated Mike Espy in a historically close race. Hyde-Smith beat out her Democratic opponent, taking 54% of the vote. Espy won Lafayette County 44% to 41% in the midterm election, but fell short in the special election, with Hyde-Smith winning 51% to 49%. She's been serving as Mississippi Senator since April after longtime Senator Thad Cochran resigned. And the special election yesterday was historic for Mississippi. NewsWatch reporter Annie Mapp explains why.
History was made last night. Sidney Hyde-Smith became the first woman in Mississippi elected to the Senate. Connor Dowling is a political scientist and instructor at the University of Mississippi. He says the Senate election runoff was historic for the state.
I think the fact that there was a debate sort of might have kept people's interest and reminded them, no matter how that debate turned out in terms of, like, you know, quote unquote, who won or lost the debate, that doesn't matter so much as it sort of kept people's attention over the 3-week period in between the first general election and now the runoff. It sort of kept people's attention.
Hyde-Smith won the election, but Dowling says Mike Espy performed better than previous Democratic candidates. Ole Miss student Kevion Taylor voted for Espy. He says despite the loss, he recognizes the fight is not over.
After this election, I am extremely hopeful. With this election and previous elections, those margins are becoming smaller and smaller.
After the election, Mississippi is receiving backlash on social media from people who are not even from the state.
Most of the backlash is due to comments Hyde-Smith made about attending a public hanging. A large number of comments are seen on Twitter where people criticize the state for pushing the clock back to the days of segregation. Taylor has seen the negative comments on social media, but he realizes how far the state has come.
we still have work to do. Those margins are becoming smaller. And yes, while we still do realize that there's things that we have to get done, and there's still work to be done to try to get some other people to believe that in basic human rights, basically. But I believe that we can do it. I'm extremely hopeful.
The next big election for Mississippi will be the race for governor next November. Annie Mapp, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Current Republican Governor Phil Bryant will not be up for re-election in November because he has already served 2 terms.
Lawrence Larry Little has been elected as the new 18th District Chancery Court Judge. Little garnered about 55% of the votes from all 5 counties in the 18th Circuit. His opponent, Sarah J. Liddy, received about 45%. Little won Lafayette County by a landslide, earning nearly 10,000 of the votes. He has been an attorney for 40 years and served as the district attorney for the 3rd Circuit of the state of Mississippi for 10 years and an Oxford municipal judge for 19 years. Little announced that he looks forward to being a Chancery judge. After another disappointing season and a testy fan base, Athletic Director Ross Bjork issued a statement about the football team and head coach Matt Luke. Sports Watch reporter AJ Norwood has more on the letter. AJ?
That's right, Bess. Earlier today, Ole Miss Athletics Director Ross Bjork addressed fans and students about the challenges and the expectations moving forward for the football program. Bjork spoke highly of head coach Matt Luke while also stating that he is built to get our program back to where it should be and break through the next ceiling. The AD continued to back up Luke in his address as he stated that one of his plans was to support Coach Luke in making any and all adjustments to fix deficiencies. Bjork also called for favors from the Ole Miss family to build more fan support behind Coach Luke and the university. With all of the adversity behind the team, the Rebels now have a clean slate to rebuild their program under head coach Matt Luke. Grace, back to you.
Thanks, AJ. The first chair of pediatrics at the Ole Miss Medical Center has died. Dr. Blair E. Batson died Monday at the age of 98. The namesake of Batson's Children's Hospital became chair of the UMMC Department of Pediatrics in 1955 and served until his retirement in 1989. He grew up in Pearl River County, Mississippi, and returned to the state after earning degrees from both Vanderbilt and Johns Hopkins. Those that knew Batson say he was a wonderful teacher, leaving behind a wonderful legacy. Oxford middle and high school students may soon get to hit the snooze button a little later. Oxford School District Superintendent Brian Harvey has asked the Oxford School Board to consider allowing the middle and high schools to open at 8:30 rather than 8:20 beginning in January. He requested the time change in order to allow the buses more time to get students to school. Currently, some students aren't able to eat breakfast and still be on time to class due to the bus schedule. The board is scheduled to vote on the proposed time change on December 17th.
For some, music can be an outlet of healing. This Friday, the Lyric will be hosting a local benefit concert to raise awareness for suicide prevention. All proceeds from the concert, titled More Than Music, will go towards the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. The concert kicks off at 7:30 p.m. with Oxford natives the Busty Petites, followed by the band CBDB. Dr. Phil McHugh from the Wellness Center of Oxford will also give a speech on suicide prevention in addition to giveaways, merchandise sales, and information tables. Tickets for More Than Music are $15 and can be purchased at the Lyrics box office today through Friday from noon to 5 p.m. or online. The holiday season is here, and the Ford Center is hosting a classic Christmas performance to kick off the festivities in Oxford. NewsWatch reporter Kristen Bentley is in the studio with more. Kristen?
Thanks, Bess. That's right. Today I spoke with the director of the Ford Center about the Timeless Holiday Classic and got more information about the highly anticipated performance.
Oxford and the Ole Miss campus are getting into the holiday spirit. The Gertrude Ford Center is getting draped in decorations just in time for the Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker performance on Friday. Julia Aubrey, the director of the Ford Center, talked about the planning of the big show and shared what we can expect to see.
I wanted something special for the holiday season, and we hadn't done the Nutcracker in a while, so contacted the Moscow Ballet. It really is different. It's not a Nutcracker people have seen before, but it's still familiar. And they're incredible dancers, wonderful costumes and backdrops. And of course, it's amazing music. Their Dance With Us program includes 64 local children who are getting to dance with the company as snowflakes, mice. It's really an exceptional opportunity for the community, as well as a wonderful performance for anyone to see.
The show is also giving Rebels an opportunity to purchase a place on the new sculpture being built in the center.
This is our new capital campaign, and that is a tree sculpture that you'll be able to buy parts of the tree, and you'll have a permanent visual of your support that here forever in the lobby. And then in the program, you'll see on Friday how you can purchase parts of the tree and be a part of this giving campaign.
While the show is still sold out, it is still possible to get on a waiting list for tickets. The show starts at 7:30 Friday. Anna, Bess, Grace, back to you.
Thanks, Kristen.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I know. I wish that there wasn't a waiting list for tickets. I'd love to go.
Me too.
Well, the nation could face a government shutdown in a little over a week. And coming up, we'll take a look at how border wall negotiations may be the cause.
And House Democrats voted on their nominee for House Speaker today. Stay tuned and see who they chose and how many votes she'll need to gain to become House Speaker in January. But first, Camryn Sidley has your first look at the current conditions.
Hey Rebels, happy Wednesday. As we take a look at our current weather headlines, you can see, unfortunately, we do have a chance of rain tomorrow. But good news, we do have warmer temperatures coming up throughout the week, and we will have some thunderstorms this weekend. As we take a look at our current radar image, you can see pretty clear over Oxford right now, but that won't be the case tomorrow, so stay tuned to Stormwatch, and I'll tell you everything you need to know for the rest of the week.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin? Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I, Kristen, take you, Jamie, to be my wife. When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client. We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
Lawmakers are working against the clock to fund several government agencies before it expires on December 7th. At the center of the fight, funding for President Trump's long-promised southern border wall.
A little more than a week. That's all the time Congress has to avoid a potential government shutdown, and there's a big wall in the way. The wall.
We want to finish the wall. We got to get funding from Congress.
And in a new interview, President Trump tells Politico if Congress doesn't appropriate $5 billion for a border wall, he would totally be willing to shut down the government. House Republicans have passed a bill with $5 billion for the wall.
We've seen what is happening along the southern border. I'm hopeful now that that changes and that we can solve this problem and make sure our borders are secure. And everybody realizes our immigration system is broken and that we can solve this problem once and for all.
The Senate needs Democratic support for the bill, and bipartisan negotiators have only agreed to $1.6 billion for any border wall, nowhere near the president's target.
Secure the border is going to be a bottom line for the president. He's got a $25 billion plan. I don't think he expects to get $25 billion all at once. But he does expect to get $5 billion, like the House authorized, without a bunch of strings attached.
Even aside from immigration, there's a lot of work still to be done. But there are other measures remaining, including commerce, justice, and science. which encompasses some funding for special counsel Robert Mueller's office.
President Trump also told Politico that he believes he would win a political battle with Democrats if the issue came to a political battle. The Department of Justice announced plans to appeal a temporary restraining order issued last week. Northern California District Court Judge John S. Tagar issued an order that blocks the government from categorically denying asylum to those that enter the U.S. between official ports of entry. Justice Department lawyers say the order undermines President Trump's conclusion that an immediate temporary suspension of entry between the ports is needed to address the immigration crisis. Tagar plans to rule on the issue by Friday.
Today, House Democrats overwhelmingly picked longtime Representative Nancy Pelosi to be their nominee for House Speaker. However, she will need to win 218 votes in the full floor vote in January to become House Speaker. This might be challenging because more than a dozen Democratic representatives released a letter earlier this month saying they would not support her. They're calling for a younger, more progressive leader. Although Pelosi faces some opposition within her caucus, she and her allies continue to express confidence that she will ultimately win in the new year. Ivanka Trump has faced accusations that she allegedly used her personal email account for official government business. Today, she spoke to ABC News in an interview saying that there is, quote, no equivalency to Hillary Clinton's use of her private email server.
All of my emails are on the White House server. There's no intent to circumvent. And there were mass deletions after a subpoena was issued. My emails have not been deleted, nor was there anything of substance, nothing confidential that was within them. So there's no connection between the two things.
So the idea of lock her up doesn't apply to you?
No.
The Presidential Records Act requires all official White House communications and records be preserved.
New details have emerged in last month's fatal Lion Air crash. They reveal that pilots of Lion Air Flight 610 fought against an automatic safety system issue over and over again in a futile attempt to save the flight. The Boeing aircraft had a system in place to prevent the plane from stalling, but faulty data triggered the system when it wasn't needed. The system pulled the plane's nose down more than 24 times before it plummeted nose first into the Java Sea. The pilots' fight against the system began right after takeoff. Aviation analyst David Sosi said that the circumstances created by the safety system were impossible to recover from. The crash killed all 189 passengers on board the aircraft.
The Fearless Girl statue is being moved to a new location in front of the New York Stock Exchange. The sculpture once stood in front of the Charging Bull on Wall Street. Its original location is now marked with a round plaque with the outline of footprints where the girl once stood. The plaque explains that she will be moved to the NYSE. It also states, "Until she is there, stand for her," encouraging visitors to stand in her place. The Fearless Girl will stand in her new home by the end of the year.
Well, Anna Bess, we've had nice clear skies this week in Oxford, but it looks like some rain might be headed this way.
And coming up in her extended forecast, Camryn Sidley will let you know what to prepare for and if the clear skies will continue.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered.
Oh. My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
Hey Rebels, happy Wednesday. As we take a look at our current temperatures, you can see we're at 47 degrees, clear outside with just some slight winds coming in from the southeast and 0% chance of rain. So it's looking pretty good outside right now. As we take a look at our current satellite image, you can see again, not real clouds over Oxford right now, but you can see these clouds will be coming in later tonight and into tomorrow. As you look at our current temperatures, it's pretty cool all around. We have 47 in South Haven and Oxford, 45 in Holly Springs, 44 in Corinth, and 46 in Tupelo. As we take a look at tomorrow's temperatures, it's going to warm up just a little bit to the low 60s. We have 63 in South Haven, 64 in Tupelo and Oxford, 62 in Holly Springs, and 61 in Corinth. As we move on to tonight's temperatures, it's going to drop down just a little bit to 40 degrees, mostly clear outside with, again, some slight winds and only a 20% chance of rain. So tonight is, again, looking pretty good. As we move on to tomorrow's forecast, like I said, we will see some rain tomorrow. It will be around 64 degrees with some winds coming in from the south and, again, 50% chance of rain, so you definitely want to be prepared for that. As we take a look at our 5-day forecast, you can see we are going to see some thunderstorms this weekend. We have Friday at 67, Saturday at 71, Sunday at 67, Monday at 56, and Tuesday at 45. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Camryn. And I hope it's not raining during finals week, so I'll keep our fingers crossed for that.
I totally agree.
The men's basketball team is set to play their 4th game in 8 days. See if they can get back to winning ways at the Pavilion tonight.
And find out which Rebels were named to their respective All-SEC community teams. Up next on Sports Watch.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sports Watch. I'm AJ Norwood. After a tough loss to Cincinnati last Saturday, the Ole Miss men's basketball team is looking to regroup tonight against San Diego. San Diego enters tonight's game with a 5-1 record, with their only loss coming from Washington. USD also ranks 20th nationally in scoring defense. The Rebels enter tonight's matchup 3-2 with junior guard Breon Tyree emerging as a true floor general. Tyree had the best game of his career last Friday, putting up 28 points against Baylor. The game will be played tonight at 6:30 in the Pavilion. Switching it over to track, Ole Miss men's and women's track and field coach Connie Price-Smith has announced a full 2019 indoor and outdoor season schedules. The Rebels will open the indoor season following winter break at UAB's Blazer Invite on January 11th in Birmingham, Alabama. The 2019 SEC Indoor Championships will be held February 22nd and 23rd in Arkansas. Ole Miss will open the outdoor season at the University of Miami on March 22nd and 23rd. Ole Miss is also looking to have a successful outdoor season as they were able to perform well at the USATF Outdoor Championships back in June. Taking it over to the Diamond, Ole Miss softball head coach Mike Smith has reeled in yet another signee after inking 5 players on National Signing Day. Naomi Jones of California is considered one of the top athletes in the nation. Jones is the 3rd top 100 player to sign in the 2019 class with the Rebels. As a junior, Jones batted a .425 at the plate and stole 21 bases. Head coach Mike Smith is looking to use the lightning-quick speed of Jones to give other college coaches a problem at the plate and even in the outfield. Football season may be over for the Rebels, but that doesn't keep the awards from rolling in. This morning, senior offensive lineman Javon Patterson was named to the SEC Football Community Service Team. The Petal, Mississippi native helped start Patterson's Foot Locker, which was a collection effort to gather new socks for homeless shelters in Mississippi. Patterson isn't the only one recognized for his service efforts, though. Volleyball standout Emily Strope was named to the SEC Volleyball Community Service Team. The North Dakota product ranked 2nd in the country in kills. Strope volunteers at the Brookdale Assisted Living Center and has read to children at local elementary schools. That's all I have for you today in sports. Be sure to follow us at NewsWatch_UM for live scoring updates for tonight's game against San Diego at the Pavilion. Grace, Anna, Bess, back to you.
Thanks, AJ. Coming up, we have a rather moving story coming out of Australia.
Stay tuned as we'll steer you in the right direction and show you that animal that you'll have to see to believe.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Holy cow, you've likely never seen anything like this. This huge steer may be the largest in Australia. The utterly enormous Holstein Friesian cow is named Knickers and stands 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighs 1.4 tons.
But as impressive as Knickers may be, the official title of Big Boss belongs to another. According to Guinness, a 6 foot 7 inch ox in Italy named Bellino is the world's tallest bovine. Regardless, Knickers should milk that spotlight for all it's worth.
You know, guys, this is one that you really had to see to believe. I have no idea how a cow is that big.
Oh yeah, he's already a meme on Twitter. I've seen it everywhere.
Have you really?
Oh yeah, he's a big boy.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? It was really surprising to see a cow that big. Don't let us be surprised by the weather this weekend. Camryn, what's it going to be like?
So it looks like we are going to see a little bit of rain tomorrow and a little bit tonight, and then you definitely want to be prepared for thunderstorms this weekend.
All right, sounds good.
I'm sick of the rain, but thank you so much, Camryn. That is all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Grace McClanahan.
Be sure to join us here again on air tomorrow at 5 and on our Facebook live stream. You can also find our show on hottytoddy.com. I'm Bess Pavlakovich. Thank you.